right. Monday. Okay, how are you? It's Monday. I've got my shake here because I need to have a decent breakfast. If I didn't drink my breakfast, I'd never have breakfast on my Mondays and my Fridays. Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer here. Hi, how are you doing? If it's your first time joining me today, welcome. You can see me both on YouTube and on Facebook. And what else can I tell you? If you are seeing it not live, please chat in the comments. It will notify me and I can talk to you, or you can look me up on Instagram if you want and give me a shout out. How are you liking Outrageous Pumpkins? Woo! Pretty scary last week's show, wasn't it? 15 pumpkins. Whoa. Yeah. I can't even imagine doing it. In fact, watching it, I thought to myself, it would be great if I attempted something like that sometime. I would not attempt it with a time limit of 6 hours. And if you haven't seen the show, you've got to see it because there are some incredible designs happening. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but please check out the show. You may see someone you recognize. So I'm a judge on the show. I've been a judge for quite some time. There's only 2 seasons of this version, but I was a judge earlier. And one of the reasons is because I'm all about the art. And so is Mark. One of the things that that makes the show so special, Outrageous Pumpkins, is that it's all about the art. We don't get to meet the contestants at all until we watch this show, especially with the last show being shot. This one you're watching, we shot during the pandemic. So we had to be isolated and quarantined anytime we weren't on stage. And so we had to be very, very careful. And we had to protect them and protect us. And so we didn't get that interaction that I love to do with people. So the first time I got to learn about each and every contestant was watching the show. So like you, it unfolded for me and it was very exciting and really cool. And they're quite talented, aren't they? Yeah, you start to say, wow, how do they do it? How clever are they? Basically what I showed you in the thumbnail today was about Disney's Storybook Mansion. Have you heard of this? Do you know what I'm talking about? Any idea? I had 0 idea. Okay. Null sign idea. And my dear friend Dusty Sage of Mice Chat, he reached out to me and asked me if I would do a pumpkin sculpting class and promote my book and speak to the folks at the mansion as kind of a side exciting thing to do. You come take the tour, you come meet me, you chat with me, and then you can buy stuff if you want. If you're someone who has product to sell and you have a lot, which I do, I had to be careful to limit, first of all, what is my focus, and then limit what I was going to sell. I could have pulled out a set of ghosts and maybe sold a set of the illumination ones. I've got about a half a dozen left, maybe more than that, but about that in the Illuminating Ghost series. But I thought I don't want to give people too many choices. And since I was teaching a pumpkin class, I thought it would be best to feature around the pumpkins. That being said, I also offered my Haunted Mansion Ghost Pin, which glows in the dark. It's available for $20 when you see me in person. Well, it's available for $20 on the website as well in my online store, terrihardin.com, and just click on online store. You can see what's there. But the ghost pin is really beautiful. It glows in the dark. And of course, there we are at the Storybook Mansion, which is said to be haunted and super, super cool. So the picture I showed you was absolutely darling and cute. I'm going to show you a close-up. Here's a close-up of the mansion. I mean, this is up in Los Feliz, one of the oldest cities in Southern California. And as I understand it, Walt lived here the longest of all his houses. I did not realize that. That really impressed me. And if I open it up to the pictures here, I'll show you this picture, which is which is Walt standing in front of his house with that kind of, he's not smiling, which is interesting. You know, I like when Walt Disney smiles, but a lot of times he has those serious eyebrow up pictures, which are kind of cute. One of the things I want you to see here is this unusual ghostly light. So this place is said to be haunted, and the way this picture was taken, my husband called it a lens flare. The problem is where he was standing was so dark, there was no way for a lens flare to happen. Woo! So everyone got excited when he was up there and he got this picture, because we feel that Walt was most likely present and or excited because there was creativity happening in his home with the pumpkin sculpting. So I wanted to show you this. Isn't that cool? It's eerie, isn't it? We didn't hear any bumps or slams or anything like that, but it was the daytime and the tours were going through, and I was outside in the back teaching my class. So there you go. Beautiful house. There's the door. And here I am setting up and getting ready for letting people buy the book, Giggling Pumpkins. We're doing very well with the sales of those. If you're interested in that book, terryhardin.com, click on new book and grab yourself a copy. Right now, I have a few that have both the author's signature and my own. And that way you can get both. With Lynette being on the East Coast, me being on the West Coast, those books will, not necessarily be available. You'll get me or her. But that doesn't mean that later, if you're on the West Coast and you travel to the East Coast, you can reach out to Lynette. We do have in the back of the book ways to contact us and meet with her and get a signature, and vice versa. Reach out to me if you're on the East Coast and say, hey, Terry, got Lynette's signature, would like to get yours. That's the way that you can do it. And it's kind of nice because, so you can make the trek later on, or if you don't want to, we signed a few extras for people like you. Let me show you what else. Here I am close up smiling with my display. So you can see I have a skull pumpkin that I sculpted to let people know what they're going to be doing in the class. Behind me is the green table where we will be holding the class, where I did hold the class yesterday. And over to the left, you'll see that we kind of peppered a little, Walt has a yard there, and we put the pumpkins there so people could leap and have fun in the yard and do that. And then, so 4 items, you could buy the pumpkin DVD, the tool set, the book, or the pin. And I had a special, as I do when you buy the tools and the DVD, or you can just buy the tools alone. Most of my students will end up buying the tools because here's everybody purchasing and I'm autographing things for you. So this is after the tour. 2 of the people behind me are students, so future students. And there we go. And then you see one lady sitting there, and here is my class. So here's how the class looks. I do have a class. I've mentioned it before. If you go to terryhardin.com, yes, I'm leaning in to see where I can take care of you. There we go. terryhardin.com is going to help you to see and learn things that are happening with me. Okay. One of the big changes is the virtual class. It will no longer be on October 23rd. I have reached out to those who have already signed up, but my website is a little bit slow in getting the change. So just remember the 22nd. If you sign up, I'll be sending you an email that says, can you still do the 22nd? 22nd from 1 to 3 Pacific, and that's so East Coast can have an evening. A lot of the people that have signed up are East Coast. And they were like, can I have an evening to do it? And I think that's a good idea because then they can light their pumpkins and see what it looks like, which is kind of cool. So that is this Friday, the 22nd, from 1 to 3 Pacific, and 3 is tentative. Then on Saturday, we are demoing at the Irvine Park Railroad. That's Irvine Park Railroad. That is about 10, 15 minutes away from Disneyland in Irvine, just close right next door. And so if you're in the area on Saturday and you want something else fun to do, please come by and see us demo the possibility of what your possibilities are. And you can sign up for the class, which is also, wait for it, in Anaheim as well, 5 minutes away from the park. So you can make an evening of it. You can make, it's going to start at 9. It's going to have all kinds of yummy edibles and eatables and funables and food and carving and joy. And it goes for most of the day, but you can kind of, to sculpt a pumpkin takes about 2 to 3 hours, depending on your speed. And then a lot of it is nerdling and tweaking and chatting and being all together. And with the pandemic having happened, we figure I always stay till God turns the lights out. So to show you this group right here that's waiting to get done, it was a 2-hour class, but several stayed later. And as long as I'm there, I'm happy to stay there. So I plan to stay there because some people really get excited about taking the class. So I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to cut back, and then I'll flip through a few. I want to show you some of the things involved with carving a pumpkin. So let's start with this one, just so you can kind of see what the class has to offer. These are really fun classes. Here they are opening their pumpkin. I'm showing them some really great ideas. Here's one being opened. This is the messiest. We only use a knife to open the pumpkin. And then everybody is fast at work. Oh, looks like there are some movies here. Let's get past the movies. I just want to show you photos. So they're getting all ready. They have to pick a drawing. So if you decide to take the live class on October 30th, you come with an idea in mind for your pumpkin. Now, if you're someone who says, oh, that's too much pressure, then bring your phone and we'll pull it up on the phone. Okay, you can pull it up on your phone and you can do the picture there. So there they are doing it. They're getting all excited, and that's what's happening. Then I'm going to go up a little higher and show you some of the sculpting techniques that they're doing here. I'm showing them how to use each of the tools to sketch it out. And that's what they're doing here. Then we come down a little bit further, and we're going to show you some of the details. So one of the things I wanted to point out to you right here is, here's a young lady who's, now everyone in this class was brand new, never had sculpted pumpkins like this in their lives. All 6 people, 7 people, 6 people. Every single one brand new. This lady was very concerned about her abilities. So I suggested Jack Skellington, because Jack is a real good dip your toe in the water for sculpting here. And here at the mansion, it worked out great. So you can see she's moving right along, and everybody is having a grand old time. And then here we have a lady beginner who had no problem digging into the pumpkin. She absolutely jumped in, got excited, and made this little monkey character. Isn't that cute? She did a great job. Her very first pumpkin. Well done. Yeah. And then I'm sure you recognize this character. Everybody has their own style. There we are, more of Jack. And then look at this one coming along. This one's got the side teeth, kind of the nose, working along it. Yes.
Leaving your phone on the charger.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be about an hour to back up.
All right, thanks, honey. My husband's going to see his mom. Okay, so here we go. Here's this young lady, and you can see her pumpkin better as she carves. She's working it. You start soft, and you kind of work towards the cavity. So you can see that everyone is having a really good time. Here's the Mickey Mouse, and she's very intent on it. Let's get you some more cool, fun shots here. Okay, let's go here. There you go. So there I show you how to do the fine tuning of it. This was a great place. I mean, so here his guy wanted to do teeth. Teeth are a lot of fun. And there he is, very intent. Now he's working on the nose there. You can see my skull up in the corner. And then everyone's smiling. Take a look at this view. It was actually 15 degrees cooler than the day before. And look at this view up at the mansion when you get to sculpt up at the mansion. Now, we won't be doing the October 30th at the mansion, but we're going to be in an equally fun, exciting place. So I hope you will consider going to terrihardin.com, click on event schedules, and joining the live class. We still have a few spaces available. Check it out and see if it's something you would like to do. I supply the pumpkin. I supply tools. I should say that. The nice thing about Sculpting with Me Live is you do not have to purchase any tools and you don't have to pick your pumpkin. I will do that for you. Okay? Very much like controlling the dune buggy. I do the same thing. So I choose some pumpkins. You come in at 9 o'clock for the live class. You pick a pumpkin that sort of reaches out to you, and then we talk about your design, and I'm right there to help you. Some people say feel free to hover. Some people want you to back off, and so that's what I do. You can see I'm telling stories here. I will tell you wonderful stories and anecdotes as you go. There I am telling stories. I wore a mask outside because I am leaning very, very close to you, and I want to make sure that you're protected. Not that I've been anywhere, but it's just a good idea when you're in that close proximity to have a little extra precaution, which is what I thought. But everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, and I'm going to show you everyone posing with our pumpkins. So there they are. You've got a toothy look, Mickey Mouse, my skull, Jack, a monkey, a kitty, and this wonderful pumpkin. All of those are, some of the people went home and I told them once they put a light in, how they could make it so it lights up and looks cool. And then I also talked about, so you can then take the opportunity if you want and buy tools after. But the nice thing about the live class is that you get to use my tools first, see if you love it. And if you do, jump in and be a part of the class. So, and then later buy the DVD or buy the tools after. You don't have to buy it in order to take the class. So, and you don't have to buy the tools at all. You may know somebody who is a ceramic that works in ceramics, or you may be a ceramicist yourself. Those tools work great. Those are the tools that we use. And if you're watching Outrageous Pumpkins, you see them using all kinds of cool things. I don't get into things like you've noticed some of the contestants have these giant peelers and a lot of power tools. No, we're basically just teaching you my quick and simple technique so that you as an artisan can take your time, and it's like a dance. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I show you part 1, then 2, then 3, and you rinse and repeat to each feature. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The other thing I do is I do not ask you. Many teachers will give you a subject and you all sculpt the same subject. In my opinion, this makes it easier for the teacher. I mean, can you imagine if I made you all do Jack Skellington? I can teach you how to do the eyes, the nose, and then the mouth. But what if Jack Skellington, and I know this might surprise some of you, what if Jack Skellington doesn't speak to you in a pumpkin? What if you're like the young man who wants to do teeth and he doesn't want to do Jack Skellington teeth? He wants to do his version of teeth, right? So basically, full disclosure, it is a little more challenging for me to let each and every one of you do what each and every one of you want to do. But because I have this process, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm able to help you do whatever you want. And I want you to do it over. So I want you to have fun, and I want you to do something that you're passionate about. By not making you do the same thing, all of you, you won't be doing this stuff. Have you ever been in a class where you're like, and you're checking out the person next to you, and you look over to the person next to you and you go, they're doing a much better job than me. I don't think I'm talented. Has that ever happened to you? This is why I don't do that. I don't want your brain to be your biggest wall. So the innocent and loving pumpkin will rot. So even if you sculpt something that you just absolutely hate, understand that it will rot and you could love it later. And I've seen everyone, once they light it up, Wow. Yeah. And I don't know if I discussed it with you in my situation, my process, but my process is, and the reason you're not seeing more pictures of the mansion, I'll show you some more pictures of the mansion. So don't, panic. I'll show you some, is you can only shoot exterior. So exterior shots of the mansion, you can't shoot interior, but you're welcome to take pictures outside. And I will tell you about a little more about the mansion. But first, well, no. I'll save that for later. I was thinking about showing you when you don't like it and when you do, but we can talk about that later. Let's show you some of the cool things about the mansion. You saw the beautiful windows. You saw the beautiful ivy. The other thing that's super, super great is this gentleman here. This is Dusty Sage. Dusty is the person that is going to give you that tour. He is knowledgeable like many of you are, and he really knows this mansion very, very well. Through Mice Chat, and if you go to facebook.com/Disney Mansion, that's facebook.com/Disney Mansion, and sign up, they will notify you when they're having an event, and they've got some great events coming. Okay. One of them that sounds really, really exciting to me is there is a young lady, you may have heard of it. She has a book, Eat Like Walt, I think is the title of it. Forgive me if I've got that wrong. But they're thinking of having a eat where she sells her book, talks about her book, sells her book, and also you get to sample some of the foods. So the Disneyana Fan Club did this once before, but it was on a bigger scale for Ryman Arts. This one is something that you do with the mansion, tour, food, fun. So that could be coming around the time of Thanksgiving. Sign up here to be sure and get on their list so you can find out what's happening. And then Christmas, they're talking about doing something like trimming a tree or something, Walt style. So how cool is that? I think that they're going to have a lot of fun things. So it's free to sign up with this group. So sign up, be a part of it, get to learn more. And that way you won't miss out. Every month they do tours and they announce it on Facebook. What Dusty said to all of us is word of mouth is the best way that they get the word out. I was very fortunate that a wonderful writer for NBC, What's Happening in Los Angeles, Miss Painter, she did a lovely article and talked all about me. And I want to thank her for that. It was brilliant. It was so exciting. I was just beside myself. But most of it is word of mouth. So Dusty asks me to let you know that's where you sign up and that's where you get to learn about it. So it's super, super cool. They have in the afternoons a walk in Walt steps kind of tour where you walk through the mansion and he talks about Walt, how he built the house, some of the things about this house that he built, and some of the Disneyisms that he used because he's, of course, Walt Disney. So if you haven't seen it or you're dying to see it, it is really a cool place. It is said to be haunted. So they do tours at night via candlelight where they talk about the hauntings and the spookiness of the town of the city of Los Feliz. It's an old town. It was around before California. It was even a part of California. So it's really great. You can do the candlelight spooky tours if you like spooky stuff. And otherwise you can do the daytime tours where you learn about Walt Disney. You may want to go on Facebook and do a shout out and ask if the spooky tours are only for Halloween, but I hope not, because the spooky tours were really chilling. I took one of the spooky tours and that was really kind of fun to do the spooky tours. Dusty makes it kind of fun. The one that I did, he kind of made it light because it was still light. So when it's dark, I'm sure he gets into the whole persona of everything and makes it very chilling. But the house is beautiful, a lot of fun to walk through, and a joy to behold. And there's a lot of things that Walt had done that are still there. Everything is still there. They preserved, I'd say 90% of it. So it's a great opportunity to see. So it's really cool. And another thing you want to be sure to take a peek at is let me see, I got to find the picture. I mean, it's just so, so beautiful. Here's another view where it's a long shot view of us. Look at that view. Wowzer. So, and the weather was just beautiful for it. Just beautiful. Um, an exciting thing for me to do on a Sunday is teach people about art and show off this beautiful. Here it is. Here's the one I wanted to show you. So here is a little playhouse, you know, a little cottage that he made for his daughters. It has running water and it has electricity. And isn't that cool? It had little light. You could do lights and the little fence and the little gates, and the girls played in it like crazy. So it's just adorable. You know, the grounds are beautifully manicured and lovely, and it's just something you all should go see. So sign up, facebook.com/Disney Mansion, and so you can be notified, especially if you're planning on coming to visit California soon. You want to make sure that you check that out. They're going to do it like through next year and everything. So it should be really cool. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Also, I wanted you guys to know I finally saw Muppets Haunted Mansion. And don't shoot the messenger, but I thought it was okay. Yeah, I something was missing. I will say I loved the Haunted Mansion references. And I thought that was a lot of fun. You know, a ghost will follow you home. Always room for one more. The Muppets in the place of a lot of the characters was very fun. But something still felt off. And the other challenge for me, we're getting low on the Wi-Fi today. So we may have an interruption, guys. It looks like my Wi-Fi is a little challenged. So hang in there. I'm still here, but I just noticed that the dots are low for whatever reason. Go figure. We are tearing the entire system down this Wednesday and getting better internet service because we've got the opportunity to do so. And my husband's like, woohoo! You know. I am too, but he's really woohoo. So, yeah, pretty exciting. But it's cute. It's adorable. It was great to see Gonzo and Pepe. Somebody said to me, when you watch it, it's the Gonzo and Pepe show. But I mean, who doesn't love Gonzo and who doesn't love Pepe? So it was fun, and I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but you have Disney Plus. It's worth a look. Okay, it just didn't make me say, yes, they've hit it, but they're absolutely going in the right direction. I will say that. Okay. I will say they're going in the right direction. And there were definitely moments of fun, real fun. There are these ghost puppets that float around the back, and I just love them. I thought they were fantastic. And I'll also tell you that there's a character in there that's a skeleton done by my dear friend Bruce Lanoyle, and I have to say that was one of the best things in the whole thing was watching that skeleton. Just adorable. And I don't think it was because he was my friend. I think it's because he's a killer talented puppeteer, and it was great to see. I mean, if you're a Muppeteer, you're a talented puppeteer. That goes without saying, all right? But that was just that little between, there's a mummy and a skeleton. That's all I'm going to say. That was my favorite thing. I found myself hanging on for them to come back. Okay. I just love those two characters. I believe the mummy is played by by a good friend. I haven't seen her in a long time, Alice Deneen. But it was great. It was great. So there's definitely things to see that you enjoy. Disney Plus is a great channel. And I have to say that what I watch, and this is because I'm in the industry, I think, I watch the Pixar stuff because Disney tends to talk about stuff, but they kind of leave it surface. They don't really dig deep. And then you see the Pixar and they dig way deep. They dig deep about story development, what it takes to be a director of animation, what it takes to be a producer of animation, what it takes to be an animator, and the journeys of the people, which is the stuff that has me at hello. Oh, there was one other thing I loved, and that is Kim Irvine. That's all I'm going to say. Kim Irvine was spectacular in that. I just about fell over when she walked onto the stage, walked into the movie. She's great. She's just great. It's great. It's adorable. So there were things I loved about Muppet Haunted Mansion, definitely. But yeah, it was good. So I thought I should mention it because a lot of you have been asking me, did you watch it? Did you watch it? Well, after doing the pumpkin class, which takes a lot out of me physically, and it's a lot of thinking because I want to make sure you do the best that you possibly can. When you sculpt and you go home with a cool pumpkin and you're wanting to do it over, I'm spent when I come home. I'm exhausted. So we ate, we laid back, we relaxed, and I watched that and the Outrageous Pumpkin Show. So Sundays are my family day. My husband, what a doll for coming out and shooting it. And those pictures that you saw were all taken with the new iPhone 13. And they are just stunning. I was so impressed with that. He has we got for him the Apple, let me get it right, the iPhone Pro Max, I think is what it is, the top of the line. Okay, because he does everything on his phone. I got the iPhone Pro, he got the iPhone Pro Max. Impressive phone, very impressive phone. And there's a lot of deals on it. So if you have an old phone and it's messing with you, you might want to consider upgrading. They have a lot of special deals, Apple does, and the different T-Mobile, Nextel, all of them. And I haven't delved into my phone yet, been a bit busy. So my husband is like, let's get it going. Let's get it going. So I have to scrape out some time to get my phone up and running, but his is up and running. He took these pictures. They're beautiful. And I'm so grateful. I'm so, so grateful when I don't have to worry about camera angles and things, and I can just focus on the job. It's so much better for me. So, and he's so good at it. That I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. So I like that. I like when he shoots, and his stuff is just glorious, 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 glorious. So yes. So you as the student get to do what you want. Why? Because I want to develop your artistic style. If I label you with one thing and you all got to do the same thing, and this is my opinion only, forgive me for continuing to say it's my opinion only, but I want you to know teachers teach differently. This is the way I teach. What is my goal? To bring out of you your artistic ability and to show you know how to do it. I'm constantly meeting people who don't believe they are creative, and that is bunk. You can do this. And the pumpkin is a loving thing that everybody has carved at one point in their childhood, and you just seem to have no trouble taking that step, crossing over and experimenting. Understand I'm a teacher who has your back and cares about you, so you're going to have a great time. So I hope you consider joining my class on the 30th. The cost is $75. I provide the pumpkin and I provide the tools for you to use for that day. So you bring your cute self and get ready to carve. You might want to wear an apron, but it doesn't get super, super messy, but it does get messy as you're cleaning it out. And then once you clean it out and once we get going, I step back and you call me over if you need me to help you, or I stay out of your way. Basically, whatever you need. Okay. So this is an opportunity to learn the techniques, some of the techniques you've seen on Outrageous Pumpkins. We're not going to blow you into the advanced, we're not going to catapult you. That's a better word. Catapult you into the advanced stages. But if you are more advanced, I can show you some other tools that will work. But we'll all be hand tools. And if you have children that are excited and want to learn how to do this, we only use a knife to open the pumpkins, and then the knives are put away. So during Outrageous, you can see knives, but these people are professionals. You don't do the knives. We do the tools because we want you safe, okay? So terryhardin.com, go look at event schedule and sign up for that class. There's a few spots available. October 30th, which means what? Your pumpkin can be used for the 31st. Isn't that cool? Let's see what you've got to say. I think I've touched on everything, but knowing you all like I do, you're going to say something that's absolutely amazing. Hello, Nate. We need to talk. Well, there we are. We're back. If you're having trouble with me cutting in and out, it's because it rained. I don't know if we were expecting rain. I don't spend a lot of time on the news in October because I'm so busy. But there we go. Looks like it's back. So thank you for being patient. And thank you, Myrna, for telling me that you watched the Pumpkin Show. It's very cool, huh? You got 2 seasons, actually. The second season is dropping as we go, and the first season is there. If you have any questions, you can ask me on Ask Me Anything Friday. I will be doing Ask Me Anything Friday because I've pushed my virtual class to 1 o'clock. So I will be doing a short Ask Me Anything Friday, but we'll do one so you can ask me some questions if you wish. But that's the virtual class date for those of you back east. The downside of doing the virtual class is you will have to purchase some sort of tools, gather some sort of tools, and buy your pumpkin. But when you sign up, I show you what pumpkin to buy. You're going to have to do some hunting, but this way it ensures a nice thick wall and a nice flesh so that you're not killing your tools or getting upset with yourself, especially if you're a beginner. And so I do that for you, and it's fun. So, but you do need to buy tools. You don't necessarily need to buy them from me, but you do need to buy tools and make sure they're strong. Okay. A lot of fun and it's a lot of cool. And if you've watched Outrageous Pumpkins, as Myrna's been watching, you can see that a melon baller, which is a very thing easy to acquire, some peelers, potato peelers, I think is what one of them called it. That can work. I don't do those in the class, but you're welcome to do those in your area. I'll show you, talk to you about it. So. Heidi Ho, good morning, Stephen. Good to hear from you. And Stephen, as you probably heard me say, I agree with you with Muppet Haunted Mansion. I felt about the same, kind of in the middle, but there were definitely some moments I really enjoyed. Stephen, come in. Welcome. And Bob Burdine, I saw a great picture of you with Deanna, her husband, and Floyd Norman at the Carrollwood barn. So there was a lot of fun festivities happening on Sunday. And I'm happy that you got to be a part of it and that Floyd surprised you all because it's always a pleasure to see him. He's a great Disney legend. And there he was. But bam, right? Right. Hi, Leo. Hey, what's your website? My website, Miss Evelyn, is, there it is, terryhardin.com. Now, if for any reason you don't want to dig around for it here or whatever, you can just Google me and it will pop up. Okay, so no fear there. It will pop up. Oh my goodness, look, I'm back. Did you guys just like look at miles and miles and miles and miles of darkness? Well, I'm finally back and you dropped. There's some of you probably left thinking that what happened to Terri? Well, I mentioned, and I'm going to go ahead and say this straight up. I am now closer to the source, and you can see behind me is my actual home. So I'm using my MacBook, so you won't have all the pretty pictures, and I can't show you anything as I cut to camera 4, but at least I can continue the broadcast so you guys can learn about it. So I was answering a lot of your questions and things, and welcome back to those of you who are joining me because things are, but I mentioned to the tribe, and I'm going to show you, if you want to be a part of Terri's tribe, you go to patreon.com/Terri Hardin and join. It's $5 a month, $60 a year, and you can be a part of the tribe, which is really cool. I mentioned to the tribe today that Wednesday we do Wednesday for the tribe, and that is a group of you that want to spend more time with me and to talk about stuff I can't necessarily talk about on a public channel, okay? Full disclosure, right up, straight up. And what I'm saying is that you can join the tribe. What I was saying to the tribe is that we have a Zoom call every Wednesday, and I had to let them know that we can't do the Zoom call every Wednesday. And okay, hopefully, let me just make sure things are working. Let's see what someone says. Yes, you did, Stephen. You hung in there for me. Thank you. I'm reading the last one first just to make sure you guys, you not only froze, but blacked out totally. Yes, I lost all internet, guys. It just completely went and died. So here I am, Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. If you're watching both on YouTube and the other, you saw a black screen go out. Stuff happens. We actually rained in Southern California, and I don't even know if rain was on the docket, but I do know rain causes problems. So why did I bring up the tribe? Beside the fact, if you want a little more intimate conversation with me, that's the place to get it. We talk about things I can't talk about publicly, but I did want you to know that Wednesday, I'm not going to have the Zoom call with the tribe because we're pulling the entire system down and reworking the Wi-Fi because of situations like this. We hate to disappear on you. We don't like to cut out, but isn't it amazing that we get to talk to you at all over a computer, a phone, or whatever? So I raced back into the house. I jumped back on so that I could talk to you guys. But what my tribe reminded me of as I was walking in here to redo it up again was that Wednesday is my day of tearing everything down with my husband is like, woo, as we upgrade our Wi-Fi and we upgrade our internet service. So that way we can bring to you maybe less, glitches and less, all black, stuff so that you guys don't have to, fight with all of this. Okay. So, let's see. Stephen says like, an old, Toho film. That is correct, Stephen. That's absolutely correct. So, absolutely. So let me just take this down. I wanted to just pop it up so that if you want to be a patron, that's how you do it. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. And let's get back to you. I think right here, like he says, it's like an old Toho film. Slow down, boof up, whatever. So let me jump back to what people were saying. And they were saying the good morning and what's the website again and villains. So here we go. So Catherine says, we're going to get back to you. Thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate it. And for those of you who are just returning, yes, we had a glitch, Wi-Fi outage. So I moved closer to the source. We're now inside my home. And so we won't have the fancy camera switches, but at least we get to continue our conversation. So villains are my favorite. They have the best songs, Ursula and Gaston. Also, your pumpkin class on my bucket list. Love you. Love for you to be a part of it if you want to, because I'm going to show you the beginning techniques of what a lot of these people do on Outrageous Pumpkins. So if you get the chance to do it, I want you to have the chance to do it. Michael says, can you tour the mansion any time of year? Michael, it turns out it looks like they want to do it. It looks like they do it once a month. They might start to do it more than once a month, but right now I think Dusty told me he does it once a month. But go to facebook.com/Disney Mansion and be sure to post your questions there, and you can get it directly from them. It's new to me, Michael. It's completely new to me. I had no idea it even existed, and when I drove up there and I saw it, it takes your breath away. The view is definitely an amazing view, and the place is amazing. It's very Disney. Hand-painted ceilings, and I mean, there's so much to see. It's worth it. It's seriously worth it. I'm just getting myself comfortable here. Hello, Joe. Sorry you're late. Well, you timed it beautifully because we had a blackout. Internet said, nah. So I ran in here to make sure we've got a cleaner signal so we can finish this up. Muppets do stuff for Christmas? I hope so, Michael. I hope so. In my case, I did not get to work on Muppets Haunted Mansion, but I hope they continue. You know, Kurt Thatcher is an amazing writer, and he directed this, and so I hope they have more things in the work. I would say yes. I would say they absolutely do. So, stay tuned, and of course you can always see, because Disney Plus kind of gives you shout outs and stuff like that. As I said, I'm a big fan of that channel. It's not quite there yet. I mean, I was stopping and starting. It looks right now like the signal is pretty strong, so I think we're going to be okay, guys. I think we're going to be okay. Check out the videos on the new Cirque Shaw Drawn to Life, opening on November 18th, Walt Disney World. Lots of information about the animation process. I will do that because I do love it. I do love it. I'd like to learn more about being an animator. I love the animators. I loved learning about the stories, honestly, Stephen, about being a director and how you have to learn about working with the different facets Pixar has to offer. So you have character design, where I was kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to have to design my, excuse me. Something went down the wrong windpipe. I'll have to design my own characters. No, there's a person who you do your rough sketches and then they help you, dial in that character design, which I think is awesome. Then you pitch to animators who you direct the animation while they animate, which is pretty doggone cool. And two of the people that I watched had a lot of history. One young lady just growing up at a time when she didn't see a lot of people of color in animation. And another guy who's been with the company for a long time, and he has a Hispanic background, and he's been there forever. He has been, and he it's kind of a great story if you get to catch it, because he talks about kind of just, he loves it. He floats along. He does what he does. His art is amazing. He talks about his journey, and then he also talks about how it's a little scary for someone to choose you to direct. You're like, I don't want to screw this up. Do I have a story? Will it work? And then you get to see what they did. And it both were very, very charming and sweet. So I love that whole process. And I love that they talk about what fears they have, because a lot of times when you guys are watching us here, you may think that once you achieve where you are, and I don't know, I'm not putting words in your mouth. So I'm not saying this to put words in your mouth, but sometimes you think that we're fearless. We don't have any fears, and we do. We really, really do. We want to, but we've learned to face them. And one thing that's very cool about some of the things that are happening on Disney Plus is it talks to you about the importance of not letting fear control you, which is one of the reasons I do this pumpkin class. For years, I did this pumpkin class I didn't do a pumpkin class. It was you, the Disney enthusiast, who talked me into doing a pumpkin class. And what I learned was I had attempted years ago. I've been doing it for about, 20 years now, maybe 10 years, 10 years, maybe. Well, 2017, 15, somewhere in there. Anyway, a long time. But the Disney enthusiast came to me and said, can you teach us how to do it? And I was like, I never thought about that before. But what you taught me was that the pumpkin is so kind and has such a place in your childhood that you're willing to take a chance on that where you wouldn't if you were drawing or painting or sculpting. So in the past, I used to have blocks of clay and I used to have pads of paper and say, let's draw something or let's sculpt something. And many people would freeze and not be able to get past the frozen. So just couldn't start. We were so afraid about putting a line on the paper and doing it wrong that they couldn't even start, and that really bothered me because I knew they could do it. And then enter the loving pumpkin. And the pumpkin was what helped them bridge that gap. It was the crossover bridge. Once they realized that they could sculpt a pumpkin, they went on to do incredible things. And that incredible thing might be winning a pumpkin contest that you thought you were never going to enter. And winning. Yes, and winning. So there are, the idea is, as a teacher, I want you to do it again. I want you to look at it, love it, and say, I want to go home and try this on my own. You can still reach out to me if you get stuck or stifled. You can reach out to me and say, hey, Terri, I'd like to do a quick Zoom call and talk to you about this pumpkin I'm doing. I'm not quite sure how to do it, but that's what happens when you take my class. You can reach out to me and ask me a question. Won't be spending a lot of time, but I can definitely ask a question, or you can, message me or email me, because this is really important that you're able to realize how creative you can actually be. And you really can. I have so many people that thought they couldn't do it, and bam, they were able to do it. And these people that you saw from the pictures I showed you, every single one of them was a first timer. One person said, I've gotten really good. I remember the jack-o'-lantern days where I took a knife and I cut 2 triangles, teeth were done, cook the seeds, ready to go. And that's the way jack-o'-lanterns work. For most people, that's what they remember. And one lady said she did the punch. You may remember, or you may be able to remember one of those kits where you can punch through and do like dot. The light shines through and it creates like a star shape of whatever it is you're doing. You can incorporate some of that cool stuff that you're doing with those into this new sculpting technique. So you can bring it all together, as you've seen on Outrageous Pumpkins. Some people have actually done using things as simple as a melon baller. I mean, go figure, very cool. So, I don't show you the melon baller technique, but you guys see that. So I do very basic, but you guys get to do what you want and walk home with a pumpkin, light it up. And I tell you how to work with that light so that you can make sure it glows and you can have a really killer time. Yeah, you can have a really fun time. So thank you for telling me about those videos, Stephen. I will definitely do that. Here we go. Steve Witterman, hope I'm saying that right, says, I cannot emphasize enough the special relationship between puppetery and 3D cameras. I hope you will learn about Puppet Vid 3D, help support the concept. It is disappointing that Disney seems oblivious to that. Yeah, Stephen, it's important. Yes. And it's something to learn and talk about. I really love one thing I've always loved about the Muppets is that they use the best animation tool available, which is the human hand. And you can do so much with it. And that's one of the things that the Muppets continue to illustrate. That's beautiful. They did do a lot of effectsy stuff in Haunted Mansion, but I thought all of it was, I don't know. I love practical. I really do. But there were some things that they did that were a lot of fun. And, but Stephen, I think you make a good point. So absolutely. Myrna says, I love how they make the eyes. I have watched both seasons. Where is it filmed? So you watched both seasons, Myrna, and she's talking about Outrageous Pumpkins. Season 1 was filmed in Long Island. That was not the best place to film Outrageous Pumpkins. And if you remember, and you've seen season 1, you may notice that these poor contestants were this side of freezing. And also very, very strong winds destroying some of their delicate work. So in this case, it was quite a challenge for the contestants to do what they needed to do to meet the challenge, because it was below freezing and people were freezing, and so were the pumpkins. Try sculpting a freezing pumpkin. Not real cool. Yeah, very tough. Very, very challenging. Just, not too great. So that was a challenging season for them and for everyone involved. So after that season, the Food Network production said, you know what? We need to have a better area for these people to work. Now, the reason they do back east is because there's an abundance of pumpkins, a lot of water back there, obviously, and pumpkins need a lot of water. So you can get so many of those choice, beautiful variety of vegetables and pumpkins if you stay around the Midwest and the East Coast. California has a challenge because we have a drought, and droughts mean you're not going to yield the best pumpkins. The water takes a lot of water to grow a pumpkin. And so you want to make sure that the pumpkin, there's enough to go around. Many people I visited this year said that they had been trucking them in from Oregon, which we know is a wet state, and Washington up the coast. So they were getting the water and we get the benefit of their pumpkins. But that's why they do it. So the second season was shot in Virginia. And it's a beautiful spot. And we did have some challenges. You saw the first episode of them doing the Jack-o'-lantern challenge. It was raining. So now they are dealing with wet pumpkin and them being wet and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. The Food Network does what they can to keep them protected, but these guys are, you see them, they're doing big, fabulous. They're flying because they've got 3 hours, then they got 6 hours, and they're whirling dervishes. So being whirling dervishes, they can protect as best they can, but at least in Virginia, we got more sun. And if it does something come through, it's rain, not snow. Or not slush, or not freezing rain. So it can still be cold, but you can see that the second season, they had a lot more freedom to do what they wanted because they weren't fighting the elements of outside. And they've thought about carving inside. I did do a show where Ray Villafane, you may remember from first season, and we kind of call him the Pumpkin King, but that title, I gotta say, is not necessarily what we should say anymore, because there are so many people out there that are pumpkin kings and queens now, that there are some people out there that really blow the doors off what they do, and they are incredible. And even Ray would say just amazing. So, but Ray Villafane, in the early years, he won $10,000 and some notoriety. And then in the second, when he had to defend his title, I was a judge on that show. And that was all done indoors. But if you look at the indoor shows versus the outdoor shows, they're not nearly as dynamic and pretty. So the decision was made to do this outdoors, and I think it was a really, really, really good decision. So that's why we have to concern ourselves with the weather. And it's like, I'm not picking the weather. I'm not the one that says, oh, you should shoot here. No, they do that all themselves. But I'm glad that they chose Virginia, because most of the time it's fall. So you get all those pretty fall colors. You've seen the show. So it's really great. So you are right. And the way they make eyes, I agree with you. I think, some of the things that they've been doing, potatoes, onion, to make eyes has just been mind-blowing to me. I have not really ventured into that kind of sculpting, to be full honest, but I'd like to try it. I really would like to give it a go. I tend to like to make mine. You notice in this that it's not about making them glow. They can be lit but it's not about making the whole thing glow. And when I sculpt a pumpkin, I want to make it glow. So my added criteria for myself, just speaking as an artist myself, is to not only make like my friend Joseph Yakovetic, who is at Descanso Gardens till Thursday. So if you want to see him and do his thing, he does those beautiful etched pumpkins, and so does Mark Evan, who is the judge. But it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And he's doing them at Descanso Gardens. But getting back to what I was saying is I like to have them glow. So if I sculpt in 3 dimensions, I'm looking to make that then glow. And so this is what I'm kind of, and that's the criteria I like. So you don't have to say to yourself, you got to do it one way or the other way. You just pick what's good for you, what you like. Many of these big sculptures cannot be made to glow because if they had to worry about that criteria, nothing would get done. So they have to worry about lighting as a contestant. It's got to be lit to give the mood, but it doesn't have to glow necessarily. And you've seen how they've handled that. And it's beautiful. Mark Evan has told me most of his dimensional pumpkins, he does not, he says when he does dimensional pumpkins. So you've seen him. He's done dimensional pumpkins. If you go to his website, he does some beautiful dimensional pumpkins. Ray Villafane does some dimensional pumpkins that are gorgeous. And there's so many others that do it that are just great, but they don't worry about it glowing from the inside. That's just not what they are about. They're about them being lit in a moody way. And I'm the opposite. I think that's what makes me different, is I like to make them glow. So it's kind of fun. It's great that we have 2 types of judges on the show. One that likes to make them glow and do that sort of thing, and one who does the other. And I was so fascinated with the technique that Mark was showing me last year that I attempted a couple, and it was just great. I love that process. That process is a different brain thinking, and I love to learn things new. So yeah, so the way they make eyes, Myrna, is really cool. And watching them do it is really fascinating. So I love that too. It's the vanishing but ravishingly sometimes reappearing. Yes. I was kind of popping in and popping out. Finally, I just broke down my system and said, I don't get to have the really beautiful cameras, Leo, but at least I'm talking to you. Yeah, blacked out. Just like you said, Stephen, I was gone. And you did hang in there for me, and I appreciate it. Audio sync is slightly off. I think it's better now. I hope it is. I hope. Like a Toho film. That's what you were talking about. Let's fight. Jay Goldstein says, are you getting an asymmetrical connection? Yeah. Well, you, Jay, are adorable because you think I know what I'm doing when it comes to internet. My husband is the one who does this, and we're getting fiber. And that's really exciting. And then I have to rely on Wi-Fi, and everyone, including StreamYard, is like, you need a hardline connection. But where my shop is, it's not easy to get a connection out to it to be a hardline. We've tried a couple things and they haven't really worked so successfully. So now that we have the fiber, we're hoping that might help us. But, you work with what you got, right? And I'm hoping that this will be a better connection, less glitching or Toho film stuff, and so that I can provide for you. That's the first time in a long time that I went completely black. I've seen it freeze or lose a momentum so that my words are ahead, or whatever you call it, like a Toho film. But today going black, and all I can tell you is that we are very, very cloudy and dark over here. And so that might be the reason that we have challenges, but I just keep going. I could have disappeared, but I just thought, hey, I'm going to jump back in and do the best I can. I tried a bazillion different things, and then finally just came in here and said, I'll just do it this way. We're your Haunted Mansion ghost haunting the broadcast again. I love you guys. Thank you for coming back. I really love it that you came back. It inspires me. And I really felt like since I just went, that just disappeared. It wasn't fair. All of a sudden I'm gone. Like, oh, I wanted to come back and let you guys know that I'll come back. I'll always come back. So hang in there. I'm not going to go black. If I can in any way get back on, I'm going to do it because I am not one of those people that gives up. The villain in Drawn to Life is Fear Doubt. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. That sounds fun. Hello, Rose Berdine. Good morning. And I hope you had a good time at the Carolwood Barn. Here in Southern California near Griffith Park is what's called Walt's Barn. It's actually Walt Disney's barn. Are you beginning to realize how much cool stuff that Walt has that you can go visit that's not necessarily on Disneyland property? One of them is this Carolwood Society's barn. You can also see the Combine car at the barn, and it's really cool. Third Sunday of every month, and coming November 21st, yours truly, and I'm going to debut my book. Well, I mean, with Carolwood, Giggling Pumpkins. I'll have it there for sale at a special price, and it's autographed by both of us, so you'll enjoy that. And what else was I going to tell you? I think it'll be autographed by both of us. I can't assure you for real if that's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen. These books are selling so fast that thank goodness Lynette keeps a spreadsheet because I have a hard time holding. I just kind of hang on and there we go. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you like the art. I'm grateful that you like the little story. And I'm grateful that you are a part of it. So I just realized that I have to set a couple aside somebody bought and so on and so forth. So it's great. But again, Walt's Barn, where Rose and Bob and everybody went to enjoy the afternoon. It was a beautiful day for that. And you get to see a lot of legends often drop in. Bob Gurr, and yesterday Floyd Norman, I understand, dropped in. Saw a great picture of him. Very exciting. He popped in and you got to see him. So no added charge. But I will be there November 21st, which is their third Sunday in November. So if you're around and you want to pop up to the barn, pop in and check us out because it's a great group of people, especially if you're someone like Walt who likes trains. That's the best part. If you love trains, it's all about the trains. I'm just saying. You'll love it. You'll really enjoy it. It's a super, super cool, fun thing. I love the glow too. Yes, Kat. I think that they do. I mean, Mark probably does glowing pumpkins. I mean, he does those beautifully etched glowing pumpkins. And I loved trying that technique last year. And it was something I had never tried before. It's a different way of thinking. But the nice thing about learning something new is having a different way of thinking is always good to keep your brain on top of things. Also, creativity and learning keeps you young. People say, Terri, you're so perky, you're so up, you're so I can't believe you're almost going to be, that you're going to be 65 next year. Yeah, neither can I. But one of the reasons is because I'm always looking to learn something new. I'm always being creative, and I don't mind if I fail. I just pick myself up, dust myself off, and start again. So the latest thing I'm going to do is I want to do some intricate jack-o'-lanterns. And there was a guy, I can't even know if it was a guy or a group of people, but they put up a couple of intricate jack-o'-lantern patterns. And I downloaded one of them. So I did not design my own. I downloaded one of them, and I'm going to walk through that intricate design. Once I complete that intricate design successfully, and I will look to give you some highlights of it. Once I do it successfully, then I will understand better what I can do to create my own design, and then I'll design one. And I'm hoping to have those available. I want to have them ready for this Halloween. But I am constantly, as you notice when you watch Outrageous Pumpkins, talking to people about doing jack-o'-lanterns, which means cut out, right? Have you noticed that most people are now on Outrageous Pumpkins doing jack-o'-lanterns that really should have happened in the first challenge? So yeah, so that's the thing. I think it's hard for a contestant because you want to release something cool and surprising about your ability, but you don't want it to be too simple because you run the possibility of being eliminated. But you don't want to also, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast before we went black, that you also want to not show every one of your little secrets and abilities in the first challenge, because where do you go up from there? And you may have noticed in the third one, if you've watched the third one, you're kind of like, wow, the techniques are not as tight. Now there are more pumpkins. There's a lot more they got to do. They got to build structures. So now the time management versus you see, even so, you saw one person, couple people really pull out some cool stuff. So yeah, so you're going to see, it's just a matter of saying, what is my design going to be to take me to the next level, to dazzle them, because we're making our way to the finale. And it would be an ideal contestant steps it up a little better as they go up, but not always possible. So they do the best they can, as you saw, but wow, some of the stuff. But then as a judge, you're like, wow, the one before was amazing. And this one's a little bit, you saw that, right? Yeah. So that's the deal with that. So, all right, everybody, let's see. This is an hour and 16 minutes. Good for me. I'm getting closer and closer to 1 hour. I want to eventually do like 40 minutes on Mondays, because a lot of you are out and about having a good time, doing your own thing. And I really think it's a good idea that you do that for yourself and myself as well. So I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to say, I love you guys. I will see you. I will get to see you for Ask Me Anything Friday. The virtual class will happen that Friday, October 22nd, from 1 to 3. So if you're East Coast and you want to learn it, it's going to be your evening. That was requested by a lot of people on the East Coast, so I changed it. Also, this Saturday will be the demonstration, me and 3 very talented alumni students, one who's been with me since he was 9 and now he's in his 20s, really a great carver for you to see, and 2 others that are equally as amazing at the Irvine Park Railroad. So check it out, Irvine Park Railroad. It's near Anaheim. So if you're on your way to Disney or you're going to go do a downtown Disney thing, swing over, even Knott's Berry Farm, swing over and see us. We're going to be there probably from 11 to 3, guaranteed. I might even be there earlier, 10 to 3. But I just want to make sure we have time to set up and everything's cool and wonderful. You can also sign up for the class on the 30th. So if you're at an indecision, you can check it out and you can sign up right there with me, buy some tools, take a look. My book will be available there as well. So the options are endless to be at the Irvine Park Railroad. So consider it. Love to have you out there to check it out. And then the following week, I will be doing the class. I will be doing the live class in Anaheim, just 5 minutes away from Disneyland. So that's October 30th, okay? And then Halloween, I'm back here at home, help my husband. So I will keep telling you about this stuff in case you forget, and we'll keep rolling, okay? I love you guys. You guys be well, safe, and post. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know what you're doing. And thank you for hanging in there and allowing me to come back after our little blackout here. All right. You take care. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel so much better. Love and kisses. And as a friend of mine says, blessings. See you later.